Hello everyone. Good to see you all joining in. Just gonna wait a minute more for people to join in. So good evening everyone who's joined in. Today what we're going to be talking about is self-love versus selfish. So we're going to get to know more about what self-love really is all about. So we're just going to wait for a minute more and have more people join in. And then we're all ready to begin. So for all the ones who are new here to the Mind Over Matter series, my name is Binaisha Karas Dongre, and today we're going to be talking about self-love. Great, so we have a bunch of you here. So I'm going to disable comments and then we shall take on questions in the question box down below, which has a question mark. And once the session from my end is done, I would open it up for comments. All right, so let's begin. Today what we are talking about is a hot topic that everyone suddenly is starting to talk about, which is self-love. A lot of us have heard of this new term or an old term in a new packaging called self-love. But there have been a lot of people who have also wondered, does this self-love mean being selfish? Does self-love mean that you have to be a narcissist? What is self-love really all about? So today I'm going to take you to what self-love is, what self-love isn't, and a few techniques on how you can love yourself more. So let's begin with the first and foremost, which is what do you really mean by true self-love, right? So self-love first and foremost is open and it's honest. It is something that you have a relationship, a communication, a true sense of love in being with your own self, right? So it's the ultimate commitment to get to know and accept yourself as you truly are. So tall, short, big, small, everything. Like you are you and you've got to love you completely in its original format, right? Because you have to truly experience who you are to truly love yourself, right? So it is to continually seek ways to physically, psychologically, and spiritually grow from all of these experiences. So true self-love is giving yourself unconditional respect, appreciation, and evaluation of being great. There are many a times we, look at ourselves and we say, no, but I'm not good enough. Well, no, the fact that you are enough, good or not enough, is subjective, but you are enough. You are complete by yourself. And that's all you need, right? No one's ever going to love you if you were incomplete, which means you truly need to first complete yourself. And how would you do that? By knowing yourself and loving yourself. It's reminding yourself that you deserve to have all your personal needs met while considering yourself as worthy, valuable, and deserving of happiness. There are many a times we turn around and say, but you know what, I don't deserve it. It's not for me. Who are you to say that to yourself? You deserve everything you receive. If you did not deserve it, you wouldn't receive it. And that is the law of the universe. There are many times we tell ourselves that, but I think this is too good for me. There are people who break up giving reasons by saying, you know what, I think you're too good for me and I don't think, I value enough, so we should break up. Well, they are no one to decide that. The opposite person is. So know the fact that you need to love and value yourself in every format that you come forward. It is fully knowing that no matter what you do or neglect to do, right or wrong, that you'll always love yourself and be true to who you are. Now, self-love has a lot to do with being authentic to who you are. Today, I can't just keep on saying I love myself without even knowing who I really am. What are my choices? What are my habits? What are my work-upons? What are the things that I probably need to improve drastically? What are the things that are hampering and not letting me achieve my goals? All of these good and bad traits about ourselves is what we first need to know and understand in order for us to actually learn to accept ourselves and then move forward. And thereafter comes another step, which is loving somebody else, right? Today, a mother, when she loves her child unconditionally, she's first got to love every attribute of her, right? And thereafter, she transcends that eternal love to her children as well. Similarly, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you can't say somebody is going to complete me. Because, hey, no one wants a half-done person. Everyone wants a complete whole. Which means you need to be complete, they need to be complete, and together you'll become stronger. It's not a half and a half that makes a full. It's not a cookie, So always remember that self-love is the first step to loving anybody else, right? Or getting into a relationship. Most people that have a strained relationship, that have stress in their relationships, whether it's a personal love relationship or it's a relationship with their parents or with their colleagues or friends, simply don't love themselves or value themselves enough, and that quality repulses a lot of people, because then you start throwing pity parties for yourself, right? So now let's move on to what self-love is not. So self-love is not that desperate need to be better or more deserving than others. It is not being selfish or vain. It's not conditional on certain desired outcomes. Like, I will love myself only if I lose so much weight and I look like this. No, you love yourself in every weight and in every format. And when I say that, what is the difference between self-love and selfish? Well, self-love is when you love yourself so much to an unconditional point where you respect even the bad qualities about you. You accept even the bad qualities about you. And thereafter, you make a conscious attempt to better yourself. Versus selfish is always someone holding on certain emotions, keeping people to themselves, rejecting their shortcomings. So today, if someone tells me, Benaisha, you're not good at this, and I'll be like, no, of course I'm good at it. I'm great at it, and I'm in denial about it. That's selfishness. That's not self-love. Versus when somebody does give you feedback, accept it gracefully and say, yes, you might be right, and that's a good perspective. I never looked at myself like that. And I will work towards that and to better my qualities. So keep in mind that selfishness is always about hoarding and keeping things to yourself, and it's a defensive mechanism. Versus self-love is open to any kind of critical feedback. Self-love is accepting yourself in all body shapes, sizes, color, any race, any format. And that brings you a liberal school of thought. And that allows you to love anyone unconditionally. That makes you realize that certain relationships are for seasons. Some relationships are for the longitude, because you learn to accept yourself. Today, a lot of people have, trouble getting over breakups is simply because they find themselves, I'm not enough position. They find themselves in a place wherein they feel that they need somebody else to complete them. And that is a selfish thought. So essentially what you are saying is that you need to be with somebody, you need to date somebody, you need to marry somebody, you need to live with somebody because you need to be fulfilled. Well, then what is it that you are giving in the relationship? Pretty much nothing, right? Maybe stress to the opposite person. So keep in mind that self-love is fulfilling and it's full by itself. You don't need anything from the opposite person or anyone around you. So moving on to why is it important to love yourself? I have 6 things to tell you. So the very first thing is you simply cannot take care of others until you take care of yourself first, right? An empty glass cannot pour. Similarly, what we hear, a famous quote that a lot of people use is, in an aircraft, in an emergency landing, you first need to wear your own oxygen mask. You cannot give somebody else an oxygen mask and thereafter put it on you, right? So know the fact that first you need to be complete and whole within yourself in order to have a wholesome relationship. When you truly unconditionally love yourself, you can move through the world with dear compassion. Because if you don't have compassion for yourself, how are you supposed to have compassion for other things and beings? You will not, because you won't know what it is to truly be in love. A lot of people use the word love very loosely. Love is liberating. It is not captivating. Love is when you actually understand that permanent scenarios are non-existential. Love is when you accept people as they are and when you don't try to change them unless they want that change. So love is actually very, very liberal. Love is love. It has no gender. It has no age, it has no color. It just is a feeling. And when you truly experience that self-love within you, you don't have a care in the world if somebody loves you or not. You don't have a care in the world if somebody, is any race, any age, any color, any gender. None of it really matters. Why? Is because you are whole by yourself. You are not wanting an external validation. You are not wanting any kind of justification for love. Because love is pure and love is liberal. Always know that. Allow yourself to feel the negative as well. If you feel negative in certain scenarios, don't be harsh on yourself. Learn to liberate yourself. If you've got a negative thought, fine, not a problem. What really happens here is you are allowing yourself to feel negative so that you know that, hey, this is the after positive thought. Or, hey, maybe I shouldn't think like this about myself, right? So these are a couple of reasons why loving yourself is so important. Another few is you'll have greater resilience to withstand any challenging life event or personal adversity. You know why? It's because today, once you've learned the art of acceptance, you will learn the art of acceptance in any scenario, and especially in adverse situations. When all of us are touched with adversity, such as the current scenario right now, which is COVID, we will learn to adjust better. So adversity teaches us to adjust better. And adjustment isn't always a bad thing. It's sometimes fitting in for the new, like the new normal today that we are having, right? Depression, anxiety, stress, and the obsession with perfectionism will vanish once we realize what self-love truly is. You know why? Because you and me and the rest of the world are not perfect. And there is nothing like perfection. We're all unique to ourselves. We are all ones. We're all very different from one another. And we have these great qualities that we sometimes go unmissed. And we start to judge ourselves with other people. My first day of work can't be somebody's last day of their retirement, right? Because it's a different journey. We've started on different roads and we're ending it on different notes. So keep in mind that all of these attributes of depression, anxiety, and stress, and being obsessed with like perfectionism will all just go away, because you'll realize that you go through depression yourself, you go through anxiety yourself, you do stress about certain things, and hey, you're not perfect, so you'll no longer be obsessed with perfectionism, right? So once you start to liberate your thought and say, this is how I am, and I'm going to only better myself. So selfishness would have an attribute which says, this is how I am, take it or leave it. Now that's a selfish thought. But when you say, this is how I am, and I might have to improve in my communication skills or my body language or the way I think about a particular community, or the way I react or respond to certain issues or scenarios, I need to work on myself on all these things. That is somebody who truly loves themselves. All right. So coming on to my last bit, which is to tell you the 5 self-love techniques. So a lot of people always keep on asking me, but Benaisha, you talk about self-love, but how do you really love yourself? So here it is. So 1, mind your inner voice. So the mind is always operating a place from duality, right? So to feel inferior, superior, negative, positive, we have both of these things that keep on happening. So you need to become aware and conscious of how you treat yourself in your own mind. So pay attention to your self-talk. Because if you're not paying attention to how you talk to yourself, it is your inner voice that you're constantly having a dialogue with. Now, given an example, okay, you're in a relationship wherein somebody is really, really abusive, or they're very negative, or they're very pessimistic, and they're really mean. What would you do? You'd probably feel really bad, depressed, upset, want to get out of that relationship. Similarly, if you are all of these attributes with your own self, you have nowhere to go, because you are within yourself, and this is a relationship that you take to your grave, which means that you will not have a good relationship with your own self if you don't talk well. So if I constantly tell myself, oh Benaisha, you're good for nothing, you're so stupid, you're so useless, you're a dumbass, you're an idiot, you're good for nothing, you're never gonna be good enough, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too dark, you have so many pimples, your hair is dry, your skin is horrible, or your skin is too oily, or this looks too much, or that looks too much, and you're constantly cribbing, you're not having a good, healthy self-talk. You're never going to have a good relationship with yourself. And that is something which might then affect all the other areas of your life, from your job to your love life, to your kids' lives, to your in-laws if you have, to your parents, everyone. Why? Because it all starts with you. So mind your inner voice. All right. Clear your mind is number 2. So of course, if at all we are talking about our inner voice, we also need to clear our mind. So observe and understand your current beliefs and your value system and the real motivations behind them. And make sure that you don't carry other people's beliefs or values. Now, a lot of times, and especially now, so in COVID, a lot of us are believing what other people are saying, or what WhatsApp is telling us, or what, the television is telling us, and so on and so forth. But hey, have you seen it? Do you really believe it? Do you really think it's your value system? Well, if not, and you're just taking on somebody else what they are saying, then think about it. It's probably affecting you for the wrong reasons and not affecting them at all. Today, if I tell you what I am telling you, these are all my value systems. I'm not compelling you to believe them. You hear me, you take what you like, and then you discard what you don't. But if you're taking on something and you're saying, no, this is also my value system because Benaisha has said it, it's not going to work for you. You take and you accept what makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense to you, you discard it. Always remember that the opposite person sitting in front of you and giving you any kind of gyan is their experience. today me telling you all of these things are my experience. They are my footnotes. They might not appeal to you, they might not adhere to you, they might not make sense to you. But just because I say I'm an expert in this or I know about these things, you don't have to listen to me. You have to make sense of what it really is in your life. Does it really make sense to you what I'm saying? Maybe 4 points out of the 10 points that I tell you today make sense. So take those 4 points. You don't have to worry about the others. Right? So clear your mind and really think, are these your beliefs? Do you really strongly feel about them? Or is it just hearsay and you are just feeling like, yeah, maybe I should also stress about COVID. You know why? Because everyone's stressing, and I think it's cool to stress about COVID, because if I'm not stressing, then I think I should stress about COVID. Otherwise, there will be lots of stress that I'm not stressing. Do you realize how much stress that was right there? So have your own belief system and stick to them. Sometimes you need to renegotiate your belief system. If you have a fear psychosis and you're worried and you're stressing too much, or else if you're panicking too much or you're anxious too much, or you're too much about perfectionism, think about those values, because these could be values that are stopping you from moving forward. All right. Number three is invest much time in good self-care. So nourish yourself daily, which means, eat well, have hobbies. A lot of us don't really have hobbies. I mean, I do. But I'm just saying that a lot of people that I meet, and when I ask them, so what do you do for fun and what are your hobbies? Nothing really. In the lockdown, I've just learned how to cook. Well, that's a skill, that's a universal and a global skill that all of us are learning nowadays. So, when you fuel and take care of your body properly, you will have an optimum energy and, that vitality which builds upon your self-esteem. And your self-esteem is so correlated to your self-love that I can't even tell you. Because if you don't have good self-esteem, how will you be able to love yourself? And you need to nourish yourself. So pamper yourself a bit, go in for these deep conditioning hair spas, or give it to yourself at home. Do your own manicure, pedicure at home if you need to. Put on something that you like and sit at home, if you're not going out. Dress up for yourself, take care of yourself, eat what you love, exercise what you like to do, cultivate a hobby, nourish yourself, right? So that's my third point to you. Fourth point is set boundaries and protect yourself, which means identify what is and what isn't good for you. Now, many a times we put up a wall just unnecessarily. Why? Because we think that the opposite person is already going to hurt us. Why? Because, hey, this has already happened to me and it seems like it's going to happen to me again. So, boom, let's put up a wall. No. Think about it this way. Your ex did not make it to your future for a reason. And the new person that has come into your life, give them a chance. What is the maximum that they can do to you? Hurt you. And how do you heal? Self-love. Self-love heals a lot of things. The maximum is that they can hurt you. But do you know that they can only hurt you if you allow them to hurt you? Which means that people can say nasty things to you. The choice is yours if you really want to accept any of those nasty conversations or not. Right? So today a bunch of you here can write, Banaisha, what a rubbish session. I didn't understand anything. I thought it was so useless, waste of my 24 minutes and blah, blah, blah. And then there could be just one person who will say, I actually enjoyed it. Thank you very much. I'll take that one person, and enjoy that. Rather than mulling over the others, because, hey, you're not going to be able to please everyone in your life. Even chocolate as a thing, which the whole world probably, you might think that think that everyone likes chocolate, but hey, no, not everyone likes chocolate also. So who are you? You and me are just normal people. So know that, don't ever tolerate being treated as a doormat, but at the same time, don't already put up a guard unless and until you actually need to, right? So that is number 4. And last but not the least is something that I really strongly believe in, is spirituality. So explore spirituality, because faith is the foundation of self-love. Believing in something just opens up your soul to the beauty of belief and truth itself. When you explore your spirituality, it will take you on a journey to learn things about yourself, and those thoughts and feelings and passions and raw emotion will just make you appreciate yourself and make you be truly authentic to who you are. Now, this is something that I have experienced. If you feel so that you want to experience on that, go ahead and just dive into it. And have faith in yourself, because if you don't have faith in yourself, then hey, what are you really living for, right? So faith makes magic happen, and you need to have faith in yourself. And before that, love yourself and have faith. Both go hand in hand. So I'd like to end it on a last note, which is self-care isn't selfish, which means loving yourself is not being selfish. It is not being possessive. We spoke about today what could be certain things that could be selfish. So here, this is from me to you on self-love. I am going to now open up the comments section, and any questions are welcome. We do have. Okay. Thank you. Some of you have written to me. You've got great pointers. It's been a great session. Thank you very much. I've got a question as well. What are the ways to always be positive in a situation when I lose a job? Okay, so this could be happening a lot right now. A lot of people losing out jobs and things of that sort. But I'd like to say that, why don't you look at this as an opportunity to start either something of your own that you wanted, or something that you might want to venture in? Today, yes, money is really important to sustain yourself, but creativity also is. Because if you like and you love what you do, you will really never work a day in your life. You'll actually enjoy it, and you'll have more passion, more ignition, and your employer will be so thrilled with you, he'd never want to leave you. I know it becomes very hard, but when you lose a job, know the fact that something better will come your way. Yeah? Okay, now, got a bunch of you saying something or the other. Thank you, Aditi, for a cute comment which says, "Owe you a lot." Someone's asked me, where are you from? I'm from Mumbai. How to create a good self-esteem. So a good self-esteem here will come from nourishing yourself, and how is eat well, sleep well, drink good amount of water, look at yourself in the mirror, appreciate yourself, dress well for yourself, take care of your skin, take care of your dental hygiene, take care of your communication skills, your mannerisms, learn a new skill, take on new hobbies. All of these motivate you to be the best version of you, and they increase your self-esteem. All right. Is it true that without introspection, self-love becomes selfish? You're so right, Namrata. That's really right. Yes, without introspection, your self-love can become a narcissistic trait. It can become selfish. So that's a good one. All right, someone said, hi, I really don't love myself. How to change that? Well, what I would say today is make a list of all the things you like about yourself, if not love, and all the things that you don't like about yourself. Then go to the I don't like about myself list and ask yourself, are there anything over there that you can actually change? If you can change, make a new list and say things I'm going to change. And then go back to your list of things that you love and stick that on your closet, and every day see it and say, these are the things I like about myself, and keep on doing those things again and again. So if you really like how you paint, keep painting. You'll just get so much more confidence because you love what you do. And at the same time, you will master that skill as well. Okay. Can selfish become destructive? Yes, of course. Selfishness becomes supremely destructive because you start on getting a narcissistic trait within you. So yeah. All right. Okay, so everyone, whoever saying hi, hello to all of you. Okay. All right, do we have any more questions before? Thank you for the ones who have commented saying that this was a good session. Okay. Someone's asked, do you also feel selfish while loving yourself? No, because self-love is also about loving the negative aspects of yourself. And when you start respecting yourself, that is self-love. So you will not be selfish then. Is it good to be selfish at times? Depends. What are you being selfish for? Like, it's the last piece of cake on the table and you don't want to share it with somebody? Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. But if you're actually hampering somebody else's career or you are ruining somebody else's reputation, that's not a good thing. Okay, great. So a bunch of you have enjoyed the session and I'm really grateful for that, for all of you all to stick around. Great. So I've got a lot of questions right here. Okay, so I'm going to take on questions for just 2 more minutes. How to be so appreciative to yourself when everybody is there to let you down. So there will be lots of people who will want to kind of tear us down. But what we must remember and must know is where we really come from and what we really stand for. And that's where our values and our belief system comes in place. So have a strong value and a belief system that does not shake you up. If you know you're good at something, it might not materialize in the first shot. If you're really good at a subject or at a job and a particular thing and you know it, it's just about a matter of time that you have to keep on repetitively doing so that you become better at it. Keep at it. Maybe everyone might not appreciate you now, but there will be a time where people will come around. And hey, you're not living your life for anybody else, but for yourself. So think about it. Okay. When something is going in the back of my mind, like past bad experience, but I want to concentrate in the present, what should I do? So if you want to concentrate in the present, know the fact that you have to live in the here and now. Because every time you go into the past, you're wasting your now time. And every time you go into the future, again, you're wasting your now time. So what you must do is every thought that says that, I'm going to go back in time, you need to actually gather yourself and say, okay, I'm coming back to my present. Is this happening to me right now? No. Is it going to happen to me in the future? I don't know. So what should I do? I should just live in the moment and be happy right now. And tell this to yourself every single time. And this could be 100 times in a day as well. But the more consistent you are at it, the faster you're going to get to your goal. Great. So, all right. I've received a bunch of thumbs up and hugs in the session, in the question answer. So thank you all for sticking around. And yes, it's been a fun session. So I'll see you next week, Monday, with another topic, hopefully that interests you again. And till then, love yourself, know yourself better, and indulge in a lot of self-care. So take care and see you all soon.